Okay, so I'm starting chapter 25, Kiana Roubini. When we last left off, they're about to start their science test, the one they've all been studying for. So let's see. Chapter 25, Kiana Roubini. The first time the Unteachables go to Sonic is the day of the state science test. We don't know if we'll be able to celebrate how we did, but we can definitely celebrate the fact that it's over and we survive. Plus, Parker has his family's pickup, so we can use the drive-thru. Of course, he's not allowed to have passengers except for his grandmother, so we have to walk and meet him there, but we can drink our slushes and sodas in the flatbed, lounging among the bushel baskets of potatoes and onions. It's pretty funny. So we go back a couple of days later when the weather's still nice. It's a long walk home, though, so it's pretty late in the afternoon when I come stumbling through the door, hyped up on sugar, to find Step Monster in the front hall waiting for me. I'm instantly on my guard. I've been in Greenwich more than a month, and she's never once waited for me. She's always too busy chasing after Chauncey, trying to keep him from spontaneously combusting or flushing himself down the toilet or whatever. What? I ask her. Your school called, she tells me grimly. Or maybe I should say a school called, since you don't really go there. Uh-oh, they found out. My first instinct is to try to bluff through or, of course it's my school. Where do you think I hang out every day? Save it, Kiana. It's all out in the open now. That science exam you've been working so hard on, they graded your test, but couldn't find a student to match it, so they called us because we're the only Roubinis in Greenwich. You're busted. The science test, I should have known. Just because Mr. Kermit never checks his class list doesn't mean nobody else checks theirs. I kick off my sneakers and stomp into the living room. Wouldn't you know it, Chauncey is fast asleep in his playpen. The one time I need him awake and alert and ripping the curtains down, he fails me. It's not my fault, I complain. You left me alone on the first day of school, so I found a class and stayed there. Believe it or not, Step Monster actually looks a little bit ashamed. I'm sorry. I should have been a little bit more on top of things, but your education isn't a game, and a school is more than a drop-in center where you can come and go as you please. Why in a million years would you think you could get away with this? Because nobody cares about me, I explode. If you did, you wouldn't have flaked off before making sure I got registered. And anyway, what difference does it make? My real school is in LA. Nobody's going to sweat what happened during a few weeks I was here. This isn't my home. It's just a place to park me until Mom gets done in Utah. For a split second, Step Monster looks as if she's about to cry, but she doesn't. I'll always appreciate her for that because I definitely would have cried too. I think Kiana feels pretty bad. Dad and I know you lived with your mom, she says at last, but this is your home too, and we're your family. I peer over at her. She really thinks that? News to me. I mean, she's always nice, but when she isn't too distracted by her kid, who admittedly is a full-time job, but family? So what happens now? Ask in a small voice. I do what I should have done on day one. She decides I'm going to the school to get you properly registered. No, I howl. They'll put me in regular classes. They won't let me stay in STS 8. Why not? Because, I blurt out the only thing I can think of. Because I'm not dumb enough. She's blown away. Dumb enough? I spill my guts. The Unteachables and Mr. Kermit and how we started out a bad class but we're turning into an amazing one and pretty good friends besides. Step Monster listens to my sob story, and the longer I go on, the more stunned she seems. By the time I get to the end of it, Chauncey is awake, but instead of fussing, he's watching me through the mesh of his playpen, listening intently like he can't wait to hear how it all turns out. Step Monster looks me straight in the eye. If that's the class you want, that's the class you're going to be in, unteachable or not. I jump up and wrap my arms around her. I don't know if she expected it, but I definitely didn't. It's a weird moment, but not totally in a bad way. Chauncey isn't a big fan of that. He screams his head off. I pull back. You better go get him. In his mind, hugging privileges are his and his alone. She laughs. You're probably right. And by the way, I don't think you're very unteachable. That science test, the school says you aced it.